Alright, so we're back at, I guess this is episode 12 now of these things, with LEGO Marvel Superheroes, and here are two more of my created characters. This first one is just called Agent S, because of the markings that from or Miss Marvel's uniform that I used to create the character, but she has the combined powers of Squirrel Girl, including these gliding powers. And her other powers are Deadpool's, so she has the ability to regenerate. Not really an easy way to demonstrate that here, although I guess I could have walked into the fire a few times. The other guy is my representation of the character Ash from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, with the current Star series going on. You can see his boomstick, but he's got the Doc Ock jacket, but that's because that's the closest jacket to the uniform he wears at S-Mart in the housewares section. So that was my thought there. So now, why don't we go ahead and get going with our next part of the story. Now, this part of the story, this is another level that I like, and the reason doesn't have anything to do with the level setup. But it largely has to do with who the flunkies turn out to be coming later into the level. Sort of a neat little team-up idea. This time we're going to team up Captain America and the Thing, but only after Magneto really disrespects the Statue of Liberty. If you thought him throwing the head was a big deal, now, once the reactor gets dropped into his asteroid, he's just going to dismiss the rest of the copper body of the Statue of Liberty. It's just gone. And, oh yeah, it's not a terribly good idea just to drop nuclear reactors into things. So, don't do that. Don't try this at home. Alright, so Black Widow's flying us in here, and unfortunately this is all you're going to see of her in this level. I really thought that when you get later into the level and you see plane wreckage, I really thought we were going to run back across her, but we don't. And here we are headed for the beach on this island where Magneto has hidden his asteroid. And almost immediately we're presented with our first problem. We've got to get the Thing out of that hole. So I'm going to go around and smash some things looking for something to build. And I get some good stuff here when I smash that tree, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll just smash the other tree, and then we'll be fine. Yeah, that didn't really do it for me, so I need to go smash something else. I love the amount of dig pits there are on this beach, because obviously you need a character like Wolverine or Black Panther for one of those, and he's clearly not with us right now, so they're forcing you to come back in free play. So I'm going to go take my shield and go break some more stuff. And that gets me the rest of the stuff that I need. And what we do is we're going to build an air pump to get the Thing out of his hole. We're going to have to jump on it 2 or 3 times. Now, fortunately, the game decided not to flood us with enemies at this point. They only start flooding you with enemies after the thing is free. And so now we have more Magneto acolytes with their various X-Men type powers. You know, the Electro guys are common. There are ice and fire wielding Magneto acolytes, and we've seen those before. They didn't show up here. And now we need to get rid of these gun turrets because they're going to prevent the thing from getting further into the level. And fortunately for us, it's a Captain America shield situation. You know, when I first played this level in 2013, I was sort of proud of myself that I was able to determine that Captain America would be able to deflect those shots with his shield. Alright, so now we need to fight our way up. Now there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and I'll need to knock out that other turret. Of course, Cap is stuck on a ramp which he doesn't seem to be able to get out of. So I'll go ahead and wipe out the rest of these Magneto acolytes here. And hopefully Cap will decide that, hey, it's time to get back in the game here. And once he decides to do that, we'll be right back on board with where we need to be. So there we go, taking out that gun. And now we can hit skeletons with bananas. Break a little bit more stuff, but we need to head to the upper side where you can see the overgrowth over the discolored wall. So there's something going on with this wall, and we're gonna have to do something about that. But that's why we have Captain America's shield, so we can get through another turret that I'd forgotten about. And then we can clear the wall, and now the thing can pull this thing just right off of the wall. Fortunately, there's not really anything for me to throw this at, and so it's kind of a neat projectile when there's, you know, something to throw it at. But there's not anything here, so we're going to bring up the bridge, and we're going to head over to the next thing that we need to do here. And this, you know, this is kind of a sticky situation because, you know, we've got the Magneto acolytes holding us against the wall, and we need to get the shield down so we can get rid of that turret. But there's not really enough room on the ledge. Fortunately, though, we worked our way around it, and now we need to send Cap down to miss the jump, because why would we want to make the jump for? But this is an acrobat pole here, so we need to do that. Okay, so Cap clears some more brush, and like most places in this world, for some reason, Magneto found the need to hide Captain America shield switches on his secret island, where his secret asteroid is. I think that was a little bit of oversight, personally, but you know, that's why I'm not a crazy supervillain. All right, so now we're using the thing to break some stuff here because we need to get up on that. We need to get up to the upper level, and I'm not exactly sure how to do it. I know I can't do it from in here, even though I'm going to try here. And for a second there, I thought, oh great, we've got things stuck down here. But he can actually make that jump back up. And what we need to do is we need to take out this crane up here. You can see it's slightly glowing, which usually happens when objects need to be interacted with. Unfortunately, it's going to be out of range of the thing to knock down, so we're going to use Captain America's shield here. Probably not like that, though. Or that. This also seems like a neat idea, but in fact, you know, that might have worked if I just aimed the boulder at the bottom of the crane instead of where it was. So there we just threw it. And here we have Captain America. Okay. So you can tell I'm really ignoring what I need to do. And this, you know, if I just remembered that this part of the level works like this, this could have gone faster. But now we can get up. We need Thing to get to the next part of the level. And now we can proceed.
This place ain't normal.
And now we're getting very close to discovering the real treat of this level. So let's break through this tree and run into a discovery.
Giant eggs?
Yeah. You see Captain America's pointing out that there are giant eggs. What comes out of giant eggs? Well, evidently dinosaurs come out of eggs. This is the whole reason that this level is called Raptorous Rise. These are Velociraptor type dinosaurs. Size-wise, they're actually probably closer to real Velociraptors than the ones in any of the Jurassic Park movies. But, you know, we're also getting more and more certain that these kinds of things had feathers and stuff. So they're kind of an older design. But, you know, still what people think of when they think of dinosaurs. They think of these things. Okay. And the theory is that Magneto has brought these raptors over from the Savage Land, which is the Marvel version, basically, of the Lost World, where you have all sorts of things that are not supposed to be around that still manage to live on this island somewhere hidden. The Savage Land as a concept was borrowed by the Transformers cartoon show, because the Transformers comic was originally written by Marvel back in the 80s, and so in a couple of Transformers episodes entitled Dinobot Island, the Transformers also find an island full of dinosaurs that doesn't seem to be in the right place. And I really think that this is supposed to be a reference to, again, a reference to the Savage Land of the Marvel Comics. The funny thing about the Dinobot Island from the Transformers series is that in size, shape, and location, it's very similar to the island from Jurassic Park. In fact, if the timing was different, if the Transformers series had taken place a decade later, you could have argued that that was the island from Jurassic Park. But that's just kind of a tidbit little thing. Obviously, These Raptors are here because LEGO does cross-franchise stuff, and I don't know, I think there may be a LEGO Jurassic Park game, but for certain there's a LEGO Jurassic World game. And so these kind of assets, were already in the works. It wasn't like they had to create them specially for this game. And to be honest, it's better than them using like orcs or something, because they do have we have the LEGO Lord of the Rings game. But those raptors are another reason I really like this level. There's the little raptors, and then there's the big mama raptor, and there's several big mama raptors, and I cannot grab a hold of a grab bar for some reason. Maybe I realize there are just too many dinosaurs on the other end of the bridge. Captain America, after all, was frozen in the 1940s and then thawed out, just depending on which comic book universe you're in, as few as 20 years later and as many as 70 years later. Meanwhile, raptors are supposed to have been gone for millions and millions of years. So, this is one level where Cap is not the oldest thing that the level has to offer. Okay, we can see a mama raptor up ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the these turrets. And thing is going to target the mama raptor with the wall piece. Mama raptor takes 2 to 3 hits to kill. And it's amazing how, as wild as these things are, it's amazing how tame they are. You would think that perhaps Magneto just let them run wild on the island. But no, he must have actually taken the time to teach them not to attack his acolytes. And then somehow that information gets ingrained when new ones are born. I mean, how else would you explain the fact that the raptors attack you and not the Magneto helpers, even though they're just as human as you are, and frankly more abundant and easier to kill? This level also has some nice terrain, although one thing I don't like about LEGO games sometimes is they get away from the sort of LEGO concept. The earlier LEGO games, like LEGO Star Wars 1, were pretty good at making the entire environment sort of seem LEGO-y, except for a few areas. As time has moved on, they've sort of isolated the LEGO parts of the environment and just sort of made things more realistic, which to me partially defeats the point of having Legos to start with. And hey, it's that scene from Jurassic Park. Except this time we have the Thing and Captain America. And Raptor Steak.
Captain America.
Storm shows up at this point, and that means that there's only one Raptor Steak created for some reason. Even though she hits, with her lightning, I'm pretty sure she can hit multiple raptors at once. And now that Storm is here, we're getting one step closer to the end game. And the reason I say that is because this is the second team. You know, the first Pursuit team we saw with Thor, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. And for some reason, Jean Grey, well, not for some reason, obviously we needed her to get us through that water, but Jean Grey doesn't stick around with that group. And then our second team is going to be the Thing, Storm, and Captain America. So despite all the heroes that are involved in the roster, there's really only 6 characters who play a big role in the showdown with Doctor Doom on his asteroid. Of course, we're not there yet because the asteroid's just sitting there waiting to be launched. And we've got a Captain America spot that we need to take advantage of. So we're going to use these lasers to knock out themselves. You know, we've done this before, but when we get into the asteroid itself, and not in this level, it'll be in a later level, the fact that we can destroy the lasers with the laser is actually going to come back to cause us a slight bit of trouble and a little bit of frustration. But, you know, we'll get there when we get there. Right now we're making pretty good progress. We have just entered the boss arena of this level. And so now we are facing Magneto.
Bring it.
So... And for some reason, Magneto has brought the Rhino down here. The Rhino is part of the Spider-Man universe, one of the Sinister Six. So he's not exactly somebody you would expect to run into. Not in the same way that running into Juggernaut at the X-Mansion made a ton of sense. But Rhino's going to keep running around charging. We're going to need to stop him from doing that. So we need to break stuff in order to build something. This is a Lego game after all. We're still breaking stuff and building things. But of the various teams you can use in this game, this is one of my favorites with these 3 characters. You know, like I said earlier, definitely a Team Cap guy. Much prefer Storm over Thor as far as electrical users. Not because of relative usefulness, just because I like the character of Storm better than the idea of using, you know, Norse mythology, which I've mentioned before. Alright, so Rhino fell down, now his head hurts, so now the Thing should be able to do something to him, except that I think we missed the opportunity there, so we're going to have him run into the pumpkin again. You'll note I'm just basically trying to stay out of his way at the moment. Okay, now the Thing can beat him up. Even though he couldn't do hardly anything when Rhino was just running around, for some reason now he's capable of doing it. So Rhino runs off on his pumpkin. And Magneto now starts phase 2 of the boss fight. We have to break the shield of stuff around Magneto. Now, Magneto is actually going to give us the material to do this, so don't get too upset if you can't figure out what you're supposed to do here. The more times that Magneto crushes stuff on the floor, the more material gets deposited, and eventually we'll be able to use that to build something. In this case, we're going to build a giant anvil. And so now we can turn... Oop. No thing. That's not... No, you didn't want that. So now we can turn this into a Looney Tunes kind of scenario. So we knocked Magneto out of his shield. and then we run over, and just like MODOK, you got to hit him, and then he'll go to the next stage. And the process repeats itself. Again, you just need... He's going to drop crap, and you just need to build it when it shows up. Now, with this group of characters, I don't have a true distance fighter. So, to get rid of all the little flunky characters, I'm going to be the Thing when I don't need to build something. Because he has the ability to take those guys out in ways that, just faster than the other two. See, there's a Magneto Acolyte who uses ice powers, so there's another one of those. So now we're going to throw the alarm clock, because nothing, a good Peter Pan reference, I guess, or perhaps not, since I'm not really sure what that had to do. And now we're into the final stage of the boss fight. Now, to be honest, I kept expecting the Rhino to make a return and for us to have to deal with him again. But once he runs off, he's kind of gone. Oh, and as you can see, like a lot of the bosses, getting hit by this stuff can be a one-hit KO. Because you notice I've lost a few things here and there. So finally we have a frying pan, a mirror. And then we can deliver the final blow to Magneto, who pulls a gun on us. Which Magneto doesn't need a gun, right? Well, that's because it's not Magneto, it's Mystique, pretending to be Magneto.
So where'd Magneto go?
I see that a rise in innovation does not equate to a rise in one's IQ, Benjamin.
Because we're not done with him yet, as he is using the power of the nuclear reactor to raise his space station. Although I think he calls it an asteroid. We're raising that space station up above the sky, and I guess this is sort of an Ultron, sort of an Ultron spoiler. Just, the big massive hunk of land hovering above the surface. It's just not going to do the same things that Ultron tried to do with it. So, next time, we're going to have to follow Magneto into space. And we'll catch up with our other group of heroes in the pursuit teams. And I'll see you then.